I'm sorry, Jonathan. Mr. Hampton needs me right now.
I cannot enter.
Come on, you bastard! You can do better than that! It's my turn!
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, dry it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insult me again and I'll put an end to your misery right now.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
Doctor, I've patients to attend. Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you.
Opa!
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first.
Bom dia, minha sala, como está, Sr. Hamilton? Quem é o Dr.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than...
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
What kind?
Well, you accepted the job from him.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Good evening, sir.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to...
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well,
You have a keen eye. I learned to
no need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun...
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Yeah.
Another night of the glorious battalion of Pembroke.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses.
He was also very confident about your future.
What is the Pembroke Hospital, City?
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good.
Any opinion about...
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running.
Ah, yes, the burden of command.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now.
Tell me more about...
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is...
You really... seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
I will not let you down, my boy.
With you at our side, Dr. Reed, I know that Pembroke will prevent...
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not...
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Aí, meu. Qual é, meu? Vou descer com os M aí na rua, hein?
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired.
It's all...
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that...
I based my technique on my...
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with any...
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for...
Do you want me to play the air...
Oh, no, Dr. Reed. But if...
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Tá, beleza, então vou ficar aqui na rua da academia queimando o meu aqui, então. Dale. Ah, que bate aí, meu. Desce aí, vou ficar aqui na rua da academia aí.
You seem quite optimistic.
I'm convinced...
Questions remain about...
True. Last...
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
I will not let you
But in
down,
the
my boy.
circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Mas que porcaria. Cadê a maldita escada?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
What can you tell me about...
Not much to say. Just take care of...
May I ask if...
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more...
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware...
Tell me more.
The ambulance...
What do you mean?
She managed... I don't...
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening.
No.
Really? Why are you...
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the...
Yes.
Could you at least tell me your...
Mortimer.
Tell me about...
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
How...
So painful, I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure...
Not really.
Yes,
maybe.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here?
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while...
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor?
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother...
Pembroke Hospital...
It's not me you have to convince.
Tell me about it.
I don't want to talk.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood, but the sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now. If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood? Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to...
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain
The
households...
storeroom! Fetch!
Perhaps I should look there first.
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow... It's locked, all right. Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly numb.
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief.
How do you feel?
I feel exhausted.
You're in good hands here. Doctor...
Thank you, sir.
Have you...
Not really. But I recognize...
You never came to see her here at...
You're preaching to the converted now.
What do you do for...
I manage a night of... That's a very strange...
Are you a
Not at all, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later. I cannot enter. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Não! Pá, gastei todas as minhas armas só na celinha aqui. Bah. Chinelagem. Ô meu. Tá fluindo, tá fluindo. quê?
It's locked.
It's locked. It's locked.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Não dá pra...
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. And afterward. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lip. Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive. A puncture over the left lung. Possibly a chest tube insertion. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly done. Tippett has made an agreed... It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right. It's locked.
merda.
These skulls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.